Okay, so for our interpret step, the goal was to better understand the information that we gathered from our investigate step to come up with a more in-depth statement. As we go through it, what I've learned basically is the problem really comes from the roots of society, and it's really placing an impact on boys due to they have the stigma around where they feel like they're unable to go get help when they are going through stressful situations, and they don't really have methods, and if they do, they don't know how to really execute those methods in order to really be relieved of stress. So I think I need to head in a direction of finding more effective methods for individuals to be able to relieve of stress, to remove themselves from that stigma, more of a privacy, a more anonymous way of doing it. Some of the more root causes of this problem is school and family situations. These are root problems because school can be changed or controlled compared to family, which could give more insight on to situations due to a variety of family situations. So my new interpret statement is high school boys need way to distress from school and family life because I learned that those are the two main factors as to why they are stressed.
By the way, some things that are supposed to work to relieve of stress is things such as the rec center, entertainment activities, and eating.
Or interpret statement. Adolescent boys need a way to distress because I learned that handling stress in a healthy way is not really modeled for boys. To go more in depth into our interpret statement, some key words that we have is de-stress, adolescent, healthy, and stress. To go more in depth, de-stress, essentially methods used to help relieve of anxiety. Adolescent is another word for teens. Healthy, a positive way to deal with the situation. Stress is events or situations that cause extreme anxiety. Now, some of our design principles include easy way to use. This was important due to when stressed, don't want to add more anxiety when they're using the item or program that we use. Second design principle is readily accessible. They should be able to have it whenever they're feeling stressed. And the third design principle is user sensitive, due to we don't want something to cause offense to the individual or even more anxiety.
Just to repeat that due to the fan in the room, my interpret statement, as you can read on the board, but I'll say it yet again, adolescent boys need ways to distress because I learned that handling stress in a healthy way is not modeled for boys.
We here today, I'm gonna go more in depth into my ideas and into my design principles. So one of my first ideas that came to the table when we was doing brainstorming in the SheCap's class for capstone was GoCo. Essentially, it's counselor on the go. Now, to recap on our design principles is easy to use, readily accessible, and user sensitive. GoCo essentially is a counselor on the go app that potentially whenever an individual feels like they need to de-stress and call somebody to talk to, they can pull up the app, go in, contact the counselor or individual will pick up the phone, they can have a back-to-back conversation. It'll be anonymous. Price is yet to be unknown on how we work through the fitting and the price. Now, as we put it down for our design principles, we also just do our design matrix. I feel like it'd be very easy to use. Right? You can just click on the app, it's like any other app on the phone. Readily accessible, it's on your phone, all you gotta do is download it. And user sensitive because one, the stigma will be gone due to it's anonymous. And two, counselors will only be the best. We're not here to make fun of people. We're here to encourage people. Anyways, off of GoCo, we have, we have what we call big boy moves. You may ask, what is that? What is that? Big boy moves essentially, there's other people in the capstone program who are on some way, shape, or form on the stress and anxiety bandwagon to help individuals out. I was planning to come together with multiple individuals to set up maybe an event type thing. Now, easy to use? No. Let's take a lot of work and a lot of people. And it might only happen one time. Readily accessible?
No, because it take a lot of planning, a lot of money, and a lot of people on board on the same solution. And user sensitive, yes. Due to with the event, it'll just be basically like a stress reliever type event where it'll just be people having fun, enjoying, having a good time. Moving on to big boy moves, we have get right. Essentially, with the help of Alexa, will be a motivator, like a personal trainer minus the training. Basically, it'll help you motivate you when you wake up, go to bed, whenever you need a motivational tip or comment, give you one. Easy to use? Yes. It can be automated through a sound program that can potentially get it done. Readily accessible to Alexa. You just have to buy it. So we'll put it half and half. Because if you can't afford an Alexa, then you can't get this. But if you can, you're good. User sensitive? Yes. Now, side note, it might potentially happen if you do the Alexa. Alexa will have very different settings on it to where it can be it could be very supportive, or it could be very much a motivator to the T. Anyway, so we're gonna go to the last one, and it's called Help Me Call. The Help Me Call is essentially me going, maybe get a couple of people, mostly me, go to public areas throughout Akron, spreading word about stress and how ways to relieve it. This is easy to use because I'm doing it. Simple. Readily accessible. I can go anywhere. The problem is people might not take it, or they might not even care to listen. So we'll give it half. And for user sensitive, people may feel a certain type of way if I walk up to them and be like, hey, here's awareness on stress from boys. So my opinion, I think GoCo is the move. Just got my results back from my users on which product I should use based on my design principles. For my principle 1 of easy way to use, my users, 50% of them selected GoCo. As for principle 2, for readily accessible, 75% picked GoCo as well. As for my last design principle, user sensitive, 75% as well picked GoCo. So in a landslide, GoCo has won. Now, as for how it affects my ecosystem map, I really feel like it'll change the way boys look at a way to relieve the stress. I feel like the stigma in society is heavy to where they feel like they can't get a counselor, so they can have a counselor right there without even knowing, and the counselor will have no clue who he is, to the point to where they feel a certain sense of secrecy, to where they won't feel as nervous and be able to let out their full expressions. Also, just another reliever added on the board for them to relieve the stress.